Today we're going to jump into Unit 8 for us, which is perimeter, circumference, and area. All right, so we're talking 2 dimensions, not 3 dimensions, 2 dimensions. Day 1 is circles, all about circles. So first we're going to learn about diameter, radius, and chord. Now a radius, and I'm going to use R, is segment from the center to the edge. Okay, that's the radius. And I'm using R because we're going to use that in formulas. So a radius would be HK or HI or HJ. Because you see that H is the center. And all 3 of those segments go from the center to the edge of our circle. Now let's name a diameter. And diameter is going to be D. Again, I'm going to be using this in formulas. A diameter is a segment from one side to the other through the center. That's not an official math definition, that's a usable math definition, all right? If you look at our picture, H is still the center, and there is only one segment that goes through the center, and that is IJ. We do not call it IHJ because anything with 3 letters is an angle. Way back in the first semester geometry. All right, name a chord. Now a chord is kind of different, and I'm going to write chord up here. A chord is a segment that connects 2 points on the edge of our circle. We only use chords in circles. All right, there are a couple of chords. A segment that connects 2 points on the edge of our circle. LM is a chord. See, L and M, they're on the edge of our circle and they're connected. IJ is also a chord. IJ is a chord because I and J are segments on the edge of the circle and they are connected. So, interesting point, diameter is also a chord. There you go. Now, let's talk about relationships with a diameter and a radius. Now, many of you learned this way back when, but I'm still going to go ahead and write it out. Diameter equals twice the radius. D equals 2R. Or to keep the colors going, since I bothered doing colors, we're going to say D equals 2 times R, 2 times the radius. So if you know the radius, you can find the diameter, and if you know the diameter, you can find the radius. All right, we've got this question. If the length of HK is 9 units, what's the length of IJ? Okay, I'm going to go up here. HK is 9. We know that's the radius. The radius is from the center to the edge. It doesn't matter whether it's from the center going up to the edge, to the side. It doesn't matter. The radius is from the center to the edge. So it's going to be the same all the way around. So D equals 2R. D equals 2 times the radius. D equals 18 units. That wasn't hard, was it? All right, so get used to using R and D and remember the relationship. Now we're going to jump into circumference of a circle. This entire unit is a lot of formulas. Okay, the area of formulas, they're all kind of similar, but it's a lot of formulas. So the circumference of a circle, also thought of as the perimeter, is 2 times pi times r, 2 pi r. So you've got the diameter. What's the circumference of the circle? That's a good question. If we knew that D equals 2 times R, and we know that from above, the diameter is 28. Let's do a little bit of algebra. 28 equals 2R. Divide both sides by 2. 14 is R. 14 is the radius. Now, let's do the math. And it tells us to use 3.14 for pi. Please read the instructions on your problems. Sometimes we want you to use pi. Sometimes we want you to use 3.14. Sometimes you round, sometimes you don't. So you need to pay attention to the words. All right, and include the correct unit. C equals 2 pi r. We're talking feet. So circumference equals 2 times 3.14 times the radius, which we just found. Now you just plug in numbers. Once you have it written out, you just plug in numbers. 2 times 3.14 times 14 is 87.92, and we're going to call that feet. And it said do not round. When you come up with an answer that's only a couple of digits long, a couple of decimals long, don't round, unless we specifically say to. So the circumference, if we were going to build a pen, we wanted our pen to be 28 feet wide, we would need 87.92 feet of fence. This is very useful. All right, now you're going to try this one. The diameter measures 24 feet. I want you to pause this. I want you to write out the work and then come back and check your answer. Okay, let's jump in. Diameter is twice the radius. Diameter is 24 feet. What's the circumference? So 24 equals 2r. Divide both sides by 2. 12 feet is the radius. Circumference is 2 times pi, we're using 3.14 again, times 12. Plug in the numbers. 2 times 3.14 times 12 is 75.36 feet. That's not difficult. If you understand the relationship between diameter and radius, you know what letters to plug in. Let's go to the next page. Now you're going to use algebra and you're going to work backwards. You're going to find the radius or diameter. So let's take a look at this one. You've got the circumference of a circular field. It's 257.48. What's the radius? And we're going to use 3.14 for pi. So you plug in what you know and you find out what you do not know. So you know 257.48 equals 2 times 3.14 times r. You simply put numbers in, replace the variables with the numbers. So 257.48 equals 6.28r. Divide both sides by 6.28. Get my handy dandy calculator. I cannot do that one in my head. Oops. 257.48 divided by 6.28. And 41 equals R. So this would be 41 yards. Not so bad. We give you the formulas. You simply substitute what you know and then solve for what you do not know. Sometimes they're going to give you 3.14 for pi, sometimes we won't. So that's finding the radius and the diameter using the circumference. All right, let's do this one. The circumference of a circular field is 188.4. What's the radius of the field? Well, here's our formula. C equals 2 pi r. So 188.4 equals 2 times 3.14 times r. R is the one we don't know. 188.4 equals 6.28 r. Divide both sides by 6.28. 188.4 divided by 6.28. R equals 30, or rather 30 equals R, so it's 30 yards. In these equations, you may think pi is weird, but we're going to have you find pi, or we're going to give you the value for pi. You're only solving for one variable. You've done this before in Algebra 1. Now let's take a look at area of a circle. Another formula. I'm going to circle some formulas. Circumference formula and area formula. Now let me give you a hint about an area formula. Area formula will always have something squared. It will be units squared. That's the area of anything. That will help you remember which formula to use. So the area is pi r squared. No, pi r round. Sorry, extremely old geometry joke. So pi r squared is area. You've got a radius of 9, and you've got 3.14 for pi. So we have A equals pi times 9 squared. A equals 81 pi. And we do it that way because you put the integer before the pi. The math is the same. I squared 9, that's 81. Now I'm going to multiply. A equals 81 times 3.14. Let's see what that is. It is 254.34 meters squared. Don't forget to square it. Use a unit and square it. All right? If you get something wrong on your summatives or in ALEX, it's because 9 times out of 10, you forgot to put the unit and you forgot to square it, okay? So remember that. All right, let's do this one. Find the area of a circle with diameter of 12 meters, okay? Remember, let's do a different color on this one. D equals 2r. The diameter is twice the radius. So if the diameter is 12, the radius is 6. Use value and do not round your answer. So A equals pi r squared. A equals pi times 6 squared. Area equals 36 pi. Area is 36 times 3.14. Area is 113.04 meters squared. Read the words. We gave you diameter here. We did not give you radius. Pay attention. Next page. Now we're going to do exact answers. Pi is an irrational item, irrational number. It's a decimal that never ends. You know, there are contests every year at various schools to see how many digits people can recite pi. So when we say exact answers, we want the answer in terms of pi because the decimal will never be exact. It will be close, but it will not be exact. So when we say exact answers in terms of pi, you are going to see how ridiculously easy this is. So we're going to find the circumference in the area of a circle with a diameter of 10 centimeters. Let's write some formulas. Write them here. Circumference equals 2 pi r, and area equals pi r squared. See, they're my little formulas. All right, the circumference of this circle, the diameter is 10 centimeters. If the diameter, and I'll put this one here too. If the diameter is 10 centimeters, the radius is 5. Circumference is 2 pi r. C equals 2 pi times 5. C equals 10 pi. That's it. 10 pi centimeters. Wow. Could you get any easier? Let's try area. Area equals pi times radius, which is 5, squared. Area equals 25 pi. Again, that's it. 25 pi meters squared. Finding exact answers, it's so easy you don't even need a calculator. All right, I want you to, again, stop this. You do the next one, find the circumference and area, and then come back and see if you're right. All right, we've got our circumference and our area formulas. So C equals 2 pi times 3, because 3 meters is the radius, since the diameter is 6. C equals 6 pi. 6 pi centimeters. Area equals pi times the radius squared. Area equals 9 pi. 9 pi centimeters squared. That's simple. Exact answers are pretty awesome. One more page of notes. Now, you are going to have some problems where you have to figure out if you use the area or if you use the circumference, and then you're going to figure out, excuse me, do the math for them. So here's our circular mirror, and here's the radius. So A, use a calculator to find the circumference and area of the mirror. And we don't round your answers. Circumference, C equals 2 pi r. And I encourage you to keep on writing out these formulas, because the more you write them, the more they are in your head and you'll get them right. And area equals pi r squared. All right, radius is 12, so C equals 2 times 3.14 times 12. C equals, I'm just going to plug it in my calculator. 75.36 centimeters. Oops. And area, pi r squared. Area equals pi times 12 squared. Area equals 144 pi. Area equals 144 times 3.14. 452.16. Now I know your calculators, and I think even the Alex calculator, have a pi button. Please do not use that. The pi button gives you a value for pi that is more exact than 3.14, but then we would get into rounding issues. Please use 3.14, all right? That will keep your answer correct for what we're looking. Now, with this question, if the mirror's glass is going to be replaced, are you doing the circumference or the area? Oops, forgot my units. Well, if we're replacing the glass, we need to do the area, because you're replacing everything inside the circle. That is the area. Now, if I'm going to put a wire around the mirror, it's a fence, it's around, the perimeter goes around, and circumference is another word for perimeter. That is the circumference. And here we go. Circumference, distance around, area covering a surface. That's it, guys. That's day one. Not that big of a deal.